warm welcome to Motivation Monday, where we share inspiring stories and have challenging conversations. And today's conversation is an interesting one. I'm your host, Ted Ohome, and today we are talking about when Christmas was Christmas. I'd love for each of us, or just as many as are able to let us know what some of their highlights and what some of those interesting things and exciting things that used to excite you about Christmas. Wow, what did you look forward to? I know I've spoken to a couple of friends who've said that part of what they looked forward to was just Chapo. Number one, I don't know why Chapo was such a hit, and then of course new clothes for Christmas and a bunch of other things like family gatherings and stuff like that. But it seems as though as the years have gone by, things have sort of changed, and that's kind of what we want to talk about today. So here at Family, we're excited about Christmas, and we are all about Christmas. But we're talking about what has changed, why has it changed? And it gives me great, great pleasure to invite our guest, who is somebody that you diehards who've been around here, around the block for a while, know her very well. Her name is Marion Njoroge, and she's a director at Frontier Consulting. But she has actually been here with family for quite some time, and she was among those who were there in the early days. And so I'll be letting her, I don't want to steal the show, and I want to welcome you right away. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much for having me, Ted. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now, tell us, of course, you've actually worked before at Family.
Yes, I have. This is
take us down memory lane.
This is really nostalgia, just sitting here in studio, having you in that seat, asking me questions. I was just observing, and I was like, so this is what it looks like from the guest's chair. It's really special for me to be here today. Lots of good memories coming back to me.
Excellent. You were marketing manager, and of course you did PR, but also you did a bunch of shows. Perhaps the one that most listeners and viewers who've been around the block for a while will remember is She, the women's program.
Yes. That's, again, fond memories. I did work in TV as a producer and presenter here at Family TV. Did Family Friday, and like you mentioned, because we were working in marketing and PR at the time, ties back to Christmas memories. Some of my fondest Christmas memories are actually tied to Family TV and my time here.
Yeah, how so?
I remember around Christmas time, we used to do a Christmas campaign.
Okay.
Probably old audience who've been around for a while will remember this. We used to do the Christmas shoes campaign.
Yes.
And that was around the song Christmas Shoes. I don't know if they still have that song on radio, that I want to buy these Christmas shoes. So it's about a song about I want to buy Christmas shoes for my mom or something like that.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we came up with a Christmas campaign where we asked our listeners and our audience on TV to donate a good pair of shoes. Wow. Like if you have shoes in your closet, they're gently used, they're in a good condition.
Yes.
We asked people to bring them to us, to donate them, to drop off at different outlets that we had at the time.
Wow.
And we collected all those Christmas shoes, and we went and we gave them we'd go and visit people in underprivileged communities, and we would donate Christmas shoes to them. And the amazing thing about that, it was for some people, that was the first pair of shoes they ever owned.
Wow.
So, I mean, that was special to bring Christmas to people like that. And I'm glad that I got to be a part of it way back in the day. So, those are some of my fondest Christmas memories, actually.
Interesting. I won't ask which year.
Please don't.
Because you don't ask, you don't ask a lady, when was this so that we place you and we know how old exactly we date you.
She's aging.
Okay. You've been around. You've been around.
Yes.
But thank you so much for being with us here. We're talking about when Christmas was Christmas. And I think it's just to find out even like how then we can make Christmas very meaningful in a sense. But you've already shared a little bit of that. But what are some of your fondest Christmas memories, even outside of what you just shared?
It's interesting because as a run-up to this, of course, because I am a researcher and because I have done TV, I kind of like wanted to do...
And by the way, I'm so sorry to interrupt. In case you are tempted to start asking me questions, go ahead.
And please stop me. If I start interviewing, you just know the switch. Just know that the plan has changed. It's old habits die hard.
Yeah, it's okay. I will take it.
So because I'm a researcher, so one of the things I kind of did was leaned into asking people, so what are some of your earliest memories around Christmas? So I kind of did like a poll in the office. I asked my husband, asked a couple of people. And it's interesting interesting that some of our fondest memories around Christmas are tied to our childhood. So for me personally, because you asked me this, it's really, it's no different from every other Kenyan. It was going up country. It was the pilgrimage we did once a year to go up
That's
country.
our Mecca.
Yes, to our grandparents. I remember we had this big mogumo tree at my grandparents' home. And all the family would gather there, and that was the time you got to see some of your cousins who you only saw once a year, would all come together. And I was kind of lucky and blessed that way that my family, my extended family, were a pretty big family. So it was lots of people, it was lots of goats, it was lots of nyama choma. So those are some of my fondest memories. They actually center around family, and I think that's what's really special around Christmas. Ask my husband the same thing, like, so what's your fondest memory around Christmas? And he also was like, I just remember going up country and being fed lots of fatty meat. And that was the highlight. Like, it was perfectly crunchy and well salted and hot, and what a life it was for a little boy.
Good times, good times, good times. And somebody said, it's until now you're the one paying the bills.
Yes.
You're the one actually looking for the mbuzi
Yes.
and stuff, that you start feeling the weight in a sense of Christmas.
Yes, and you're right. So just taking that point a little further. So we did a small study. As you mentioned, I'm the one who mentioned that we do research. So we did social research. So we try and get a pulse on where Kenyans are at. And we did a small study called Data Miss December. Okay. And we're asking people how excited, on a scale of 1 to 6, where 6 is, I'm extremely excited, I'm off my rocker, I can't wait for Christmas. And 1 is, I couldn't care less about Christmas is what again? So we just sampled a cross-section of Kenyans. To ask them, how excited are you about Christmas? I'll tell you what was interesting from that data is that, no surprises, 18 to 24-year-olds are the most excited. They are the amplifiers of Christmas, the festive season. But as you grow older, the excitement levels kind of taper. So don't get me wrong, probably 3 in 4 Kenyans are excited. Well, excited here means we are looking forward to Christmas. We're not breaking our backs, but we're looking forward to Christmas. So 3 of 4 Kenyans possibly are looking forward. They are anticipating the holiday season. But as you grow older, it kind of tapers down. It means different things to different people. When you get to plus 65-year-olds and above, then you find like Christmas is more muted. Now, that does not mean they don't care for Christmas. It just means that Christmas means different things to different age segments. So 18 to 24-year-olds, we have the energy, we're excited, we're going to travel, we're going to Instagram our lives away, that sort of thing. But as you grow older, then you have like the 35 to 44-year-olds. These are more the providers than the party goers. Those guys have bills to pay. They're probably taking care of aging parents. They have responsibilities. They're looking forward to school in January. So yes, they're looking forward to Christmas, but they're very aware of the responsibilities and they're the ones carrying Christmas, like making the parties for the people, hosting the family that is coming. Those are the guys. When you get to 65, it's more nostalgic, it's more reflective, it's more meditative. So we don't have the energy to be excited like an 18 to 24-year-old, but that doesn't mean we don't care about Christmas. It just means that we are more reflective and muted about it. So I think when I thought about how Christmas has changed over time, it's not just, yes, it has changed. It's looking different from when I was little, but we also change as people. So Christmas starts looking like different things for different people as you age. That's so interesting, and because you're giving me perspective even on like how I look at Christmas, because just like you, I mean, I was excited. I have to say that, when I was a child, I was very excited to go to shags and stuff like that. There was a season when I was not, and let me tell you why. Because so my mom had this brilliant plan, and it was to build my shosho a house, right? And so we find ourselves in December with many cousins. We are young and full of energy, and there's a house to build. So who will build it? I can see where it is.
So we were fed. But we worked for it.
I have to work for it.
We worked for it. It was. So at some point, like looking back now, I can look back like, wow, that was such a lesson in hard work, in work ethic, and responsibility and giving back in a sense. But that time,
it was hard work.
It was hard work, in a sense. But it was fun. There was a beautiful part to it, because that was the first time I actually ever got into construction in a sense. Like this is how a house actually comes about, because it was just a nice, simple, house and stuff, and that was a good lesson. But as you said rightly, I think the expectations, or rather the the perception
Yeah.
towards Christmas, in a sense, changes over time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Sally, who hosts another show here, and that's Family Matters, was talking some time back about the December debt trap.
Yeah.
Part of what people sometimes do is you end up overextending yourself
Yeah.
financially,
Yeah.
and you spend a bit too much. That's why we keep saying that January
Yes.
has about 52 days
Yeah.
instead of the normal 31,
Yeah.
in a sense. And of course, I want us to just keep on talking about this. Some of my fondest memories, of course, really center around that, and it's very interesting that you should share that. I think I still remember the first time I ever saw a guy making chapos, because I was always used to seeing ladies. But this guy, man, we had a massive tent with a huge family gathering, and there were so many people that came together from different. So it was so much fun, so much, you know. There was the bazaars, there was everything,
Yeah.
in a sense. But then this guy was the one making chapos, and he was spinning them. I think he must have had like 400 chapos or something like that, like throughout the night,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I remember looking at him and just thinking, wow, okay, I didn't want to be like him when I grew up. In a sense.
But you appreciated the
But I
art.
appreciated the art, and I was like, my goodness, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is awesome. So as we sort of have this conversation about like then how we can make Christmas more meaningful, what are some of those changing perspectives? What do they tell us then
Yeah.
about Christmas, and maybe even our expectations
Right.
of Christmas?
Yeah.
Because I think that we tie a lot to Christmas with festivities and partying and stuff like that. Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Are there pitfalls to that?
Yeah.
How should we think through that?
My short answer would be it's not a bad thing.
Yes.
So I think so. One of the things and this is not scientifically proven, this is just purely my hypothesis.
Yeah.
I always find it a curious thing in Nairobi how in December, for some reason, traffic just becomes impossible.
Yo.
Like schools are closed, like it's like
True.
everybody and significant is out on the road with a car. I'm like, I don't know,
That's
what is it that cars multiply and give birth in December? For some reason, traffic just becomes impossible. And
That's true.
it's not even in the regular traffic hours, it's all around the day.
Yes.
Like
From
Fridays
6
in
a.m.
December are
Yes.
just notorious. Like
Yes.
weekends, if you're driving outbound outside
Yeah.
Nairobi, the roads are just completely chock-a-block.
Nowadays, if you don't need traffic, you need to travel at 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's 2 a.m.
That's 2 a.m., not 2 p.m., not 2.
That's 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Yeah, the
Yes.
traffic just becomes impossible. And I keep wondering, Kwani, what's going on? Like, what's happened? Is nobody in their office? Is nobody seated in their house? Like, there's days in March, like, there's literally no one on the road. But in December, everybody is out and about.
That's true.
And I think it's an indicator of, this is my theory, again, not scientifically proven. I think there's a sense in which by the time we're coming to December, people are exhaling. Throughout the year, you've been managing your responsibilities.
Yeah.
Your finances, your savings, you don't know how the year is going to pan out. So you're being extra cautious.
Yeah.
So you go through the year, okay, we're in March, okay, it's looking like a good year. I'll manage this. By the time January is coming, we're apprehensive. What will this year bring? That's why we do New Year's resolutions, we do wish lists, we go to Keshas, because we don't know what the year ahead will bring us.
Yeah.
But as the year unfolds and we settle into it and we're like, okay, Sam, old, I can do this. Okay, let's keep going. June, see, we are halfway through the year. By the time we're getting December, you're like, yay, we made it. We made it through another year. We're still here. We are breathing. We're here.
Yeah.
And you know what? We saved through the year. Now we break into the piggy banks and we're like, you know what? Let's just give ourselves a break. Let's exhale. Let's rusa. Let us pat ourselves on the back for being here. Absolutely. And that's not a bad thing. So people will indulge a little more. You probably caught a mat throughout the whole year. Now you're like, I can't even drive my car this December. Why am I catching a mat? Let me chamois the car and go out on the road.
Yes.
And that's not a bad thing. People need rest. They need reflection. And I actually think, in a way, it subconsciously ties back to the reason for this season. Remember how it's all about the birth of the Savior, and he came to bring joy to the world. And we're sort of leaning into that joy. Like, this is a season of joy, of rest, of peace. At the very basic, at its very foundations, this is the reason for the season. So people may not realize that they're leaning into something that was actually from the very foundations of God. And I think, and that's why I think it's still a good thing. We bear with the traffic, we grin and bear it, but we're like, it's still a good thing. People are I think people are more easygoing, more, people are looking forward to spending time with family. We need those breaks, those pressure releases in life before now we start again. We go back on the hamster wheel in the new year. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Again, there needs to be some restraint. You can't just go, like, you know what, we made it, we're gonna go all out, and, just extremes and excesses, then you actually start to lose the joy and the meaning of the season, because now you're depressed, like, oh my God, what did I just do to myself and my finances?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think there's a balance. There's something good there. It just needs to also be, as with all things, a bit of restraint and moderation keeps everything nice and happy. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I know this is not a conversation on finances, but there's a sense in which Christmas almost always brings up financial issues and stuff, because you need to, that's the time maybe now, even when you remember, like maybe you need to go up country and stuff, and then you remember, oh man, there's something I needed to do for mom, for sure, or something like that. So there's a bit of stress sometimes that is related to that. Any thoughts on just how do we manage those excesses, so to speak? How do we ensure that we don't break bank? Because I actually do think that a lot of people break bank in December. We tend to overextend ourselves. That's why, by the way, this January, thing becomes such a, like a huge thing, because many people, I think, sometimes just tend to overextend themselves, and we do overspend during Christmas. My son was born on 26th, and I was like, first of all, dude, why are you competing with Jesus? We are grateful, you know. And of course, it is not when the hour came, when the hour came. But even that in itself, because and then my wife's birthday is also in this month.
So
this month is one of those.
It's a financially heavy month for you.
Exactly. So you're moving from one thing to another, and then of course you're moving from one festivity to another. You're traveling and stuff like that. Any thoughts on just how have you managed? How have you thought about that? And how have you, what would you say to our listeners and our viewers?
I think it's the reality is December calls for more expenses. Whether you're traveling up country, there's a cost to that travel. When you're going up country, you can't just show up and say, I am here from the city in all my glory. You need to show up with something. You need, if you're visiting your elderly parents, I strongly encourage, please take them shopping. Let that, even if it's your once a year pilgrimage, make it significant. Go with something for them. If it's a project that you want to do, and there are lots of people who over Christmas is when they connect, you go up country, you go visit your parents, or you go visit an elderly relative, and you realize, I could build them a water tank, or I could do this, I could repair the cowshed, whatever. Those are good things to do. Lean into those. And this is the blessing of finances, that it's not just about self-indulgence, but using your finances to give and be a blessing to someone. December affords us that opportunity. So I would not discourage that. However, I would say that as you're doing your annual budget, like in January, you know how we sit down and do our budget this year, I will pay school fees, I will renew insurance, whatever, just all those obligations that you have, and you're writing them down. Factor in your Christmas budget in there. So have a budget like there for December happy, or December expenses, or whatever you want to call it, December blessing, whatever you want to call it. But just factor it in the rest of the 12 months of the year. Have a budget line and an intentional spend for it. And that way, when it comes around, it's not stressful because you already bought into the idea. You've already accepted that it is what it is. I had planned to spend this money anyway, and you know what? It's a guided spending. I think the part where it gets stressful is when you do a lot of impulse spending. So, but I was just scrolling on social media and I saw a pair of shoes and I saw that, and then by the end of it, you're looking and you're like, I bought so much junk over December. And then you start getting stressed out because you're like, that was not the plan. And you're feeling like you're kind of spiraling out of control. That's when it gets stressful. But if you're intentional in your spending, then you're setting yourself up to actually enjoy your Christmas.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we'd love to hear from you. So please do feel free to get in touch with us on our WhatsApp line 0786 316 316, or you could leave a comment in the chat section of our YouTube page where we're broadcasting this live. Now, I would like to ask you this question, and perhaps you could indulge us with this. Is Christmas for you more a stressful time or an exciting time? Maybe let's just do a poll right here, and you can let us know. Is Christmas, the Christmas season and the festivity season and the New Year, is it more as an exciting time for you or a stressful time for you? And why is that? Maybe you could indulge us. So please feel free to get in touch with us on our WhatsApp line 0786 316 316, and you can also leave a comment on the chat section of our YouTube page where we are broadcasting this live. All right, so maybe as we begin to think about how to make this season also just a bit more meaningful, are there any practices, are there any attitudes that you found super helpful to adopt around this time? Because Christmas means different things to different people. I had once a preacher say that sometimes, during Christmas, there's a lot of family gatherings, but there's very little family. Because sometimes Christmas, this family, whatever's bring up their own issues and stuff. That's when you reconnect with that uncle that pretty much has something to say about everything, or this and that. Are there any practices, attitudes, or something that just have been meaningful to you, and that over the years, as you've been reflecting, you're like, yeah, this has been a very good tradition or a very good thing that we've picked up?
That's a big question. And so the disclaimer here is I don't know how to talk about Christmas outside of Christ and the birth of the Savior.
Yes.
So kind of everything that I'll say, we kind of keep going back to that point.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wired like that. So I'm just, let me just put that out there.
That's perfectly fine, yeah.
But I think in terms of tradition and again, just going back to some of the research that's been done, and that pastor was spot on in terms of a lot of Christmas centers around family, going home for the holidays.
Yeah.
Even here in Kenya, a lot of people are looking forward to Christmas for the very reason of I'll spend time with family, or I'll go up country and be with family, or wherever it is that they're planning to connect with their family members.
Yeah.
So that's something that it's a thing. We have to accept and acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Two things. So there's the question of family. There's people who, for them, family could be a painful or a hurtful issue, and that now adds to the stress of the holiday season.
Yeah.
And there's room for empathy for that. Again, goes back to the reason for this season. I think Christ, the Messiah, came to bring reconciliation, peace on heaven and earth between God and man. I think that's a huge superpower to lean into to get you through the holiday season and the stress of dealing with family, especially where relationships have been hurtful, or whereas many people are looking forward to going home for the holidays, you can't quite say the same, because going home for the holidays may mean like you're going to confront or be confronted by a parent who perhaps abused you, or a sibling relationship that's strained.
Yeah.
And so you're not looking forward to going home for the holidays, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's important to acknowledge that. I think that all the more reason for this season to mean something to us, because God is the ultimate reconciler. He reconciled himself back to us, and he is able to reconcile those relationships that are strained and broken.
Yeah.
It may not get done this Christmas, but it may surprise you that baby steps may actually start happening this Christmas as you find meaningful ways to engage. I'm not saying go home and fix it. I'm just saying look to God, your Father in heaven, because ultimately his plan is for reconciliation of relationships. So I think that's a place that people can find hope.
Yeah.
I think the second point is, and I kind of lost it as I was going along, was, okay, so there's the family and then there's the tradition. Think about, and this is, when you're younger, you don't think about this. You just do things because they were things. Like we went home for Christmas, that is what it was.
Yeah.
But I think as we age, we can become a bit more intentional, especially for those of us with families. You said your son was born on the 26th of December.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be those kids who will get his Christmas present and his birthday present in one.
Yeah, all together. Yeah, and also if you're planning celebrations, we plan them
your birthday party will be the Christmas party and all of that.
You and Jesus, we will celebrate you together.
But I think there's a place one of the things we can do, and again, just because we as humans tend to be more receptive to relationships, to love, to family, in this particular season, let's lean into that to then create traditions for our families that actually make us look forward to Christmas. So one of the things, which is curious, because I have always said this when my kids are little, I used to tell them, wherever you are in the world, Christmas Day, I want us to always have Christmas breakfast together. So our thing as a family is 25th December breakfast was a big deal. Wow. We all chipped in. We made the pancakes together. We did this together, all hands on deck, and we made a big spread, and we had a Christmas brunch. And that was our thing as Christmas, as a family. It's funny now that they're all gone. They're not. They're far away from home, and they will not be coming home for Christmas. So I just hope that they will remember those traditions, and they will say, "Oh, Mom always used to say this about Christmas." So it's the time for us, especially those of us with young families, to be intentional about crafting traditions that your children will carry on after you. I think it's a good space to do that. But then also, speaking to people who may not have family in the traditional sense of the word, meaning I may not have children, I may not have a spouse, I may probably not have parents who are still alive.
Yeah.
There is family, find family around you. And these are the things that if you do not find yourself in that space of loneliness this holiday season, because that's also a stress factor about Christmas, that you're all alone. Even thinking about my kids who are not in the country and probably find themselves away, there's no family per se that they can visit.
Yeah.
I think the challenge there is, as you go into the new year, try and find a family you can plug into. It could be your church community, it could be your maybe I'll say this because I don't have another example that comes to mind. Maybe your family or people who love hiking. Try and plug into those, find things that you enjoy and find a community that speaks to those things, and then plug in, be intentional, show up. You know, the other thing is we live our lives very secluded. The whole year you're being invited to things and you're ignoring or you're ducking and you choose to stay home and do Netflix and chill. What you're doing is you're cutting yourself off from community. And those are the spaces that would actually become family for you. Those are the places where if you plug into community like your church community, you'll probably find someone from a ministry in church, maybe your home Bible study group. They'll be like, come spend Christmas with my family, come be with my people. And then you find yourself adopted into a family and you end up enjoying a really good Christmas. You end up tapping into other people's traditions or being part of other people's traditions, even enriching other people's traditions. We have hosted people for Christmas events who brought so much joy and meaning and a different flavor to our Christmases. So don't cut yourself off from community. You reap the rewards in seasons like this.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I'd love for us to go back to that conversation. We're not noted down. That's such a powerful point, I think. And so we'll be right back. We'll listen to just a story of impact and Vincent Mugisia's journey with family media. And then we'll be right back after the break. See you soon.
My name's Vincent Mugisa Baraka. Born again, and I have a family. I have a wife, a lovely wife with a precious, beautiful son. I am a lecturer at the Management University of Africa, where I lecture and also I work there in admissions and marketing department. And I'm also an investor in the stock market, and I invest in securities as well. It's a journey from 2010 there. That's when I started listening to family media. And I can see through the programs that I listen to, and it became like everyday thing. I have to listen to family media. I have to continuously listen to the programs, the preachings that were going on, and they kind of built me into that person who I can say I am. Destined to Reign. That's one program that really revolutionized my whole life. I became, when I was a newborn Christian, I didn't know so much. I just thought I have to fast for 7 days and that's it, because that's very important. But then through the programs, I realized there's so much I didn't know, and so I sat down and became a student of the Word. The other one I can talk about, it's a prayer circle. The prayers that normally happen in the evenings, and that have been very instrumental in shaping my prayer walk, and basically on terms of now intercession, in terms of intimacy with Jesus, in terms of knowing about the kingdom of God, knowing about who I am and what Christ has made me into, and the things that I can really do, especially in terms of reaching out to the lost. So that really impacted my life also. And also the third one is about Shake. I love contemporary music. I love gospel that is so contemporary. And through the Shake, they have this wonderful music which really, they speak to my heart every time I listen to. There's this program, it's Drive Through History, going over to Israel, the streets of Israel, getting to know what happened, going back in history has really opened my mind in terms of the Bible becoming alive to me.
We invite you to become a partner with us by making a donation to M-Pesa pay bill number 316 with your phone number as the account number.
So I can say whenever we give to the work of God, it's not a loss. It's an investment that will speak to eternity, that will speak to your children, to your lineage, to your household, to your family. It's an investment that will not be erased in history. So whenever you give to the work of God, you're not just supporting that work at that moment, but this is something that is going to speak to eternity.
Very warm welcome back to Motivation Monday, where we share inspiring stories and have challenging conversations. And thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast, a part of this show this morning. And indeed, just like Vincent, you can be part of the family that keeps family on air and helps to keep Jesus on the airwaves. And so please do consider giving to the paybill number 316, and the account number will be your phone number. It really does make a difference. So do consider to do that, however small, however large it is. We are talking about when Christmas was Christmas, and we are asking one question right now. Is Christmas more a stressful time for you or an exciting time for you, and why is that? And you could share any stories, any perspectives on how Christmas has changed for you, if it has, either for the better or for the worse or whatever it is. We'd love really to hear from you. And so please feel free to get in touch with us on 0786 316 316. That's our WhatsApp line. In fact, I do want to read a couple of the messages that have been coming in. This is Nest, who says, Christmas is a stressful season for me because it always takes away all my friends. They travel home to be with their families. Wow. What a comment there, and thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing that, because we'd love to come and interact with that. I think what our guest Marion was just sharing before we went on break sort of ties to that, and we could have a conversation about that. Somebody else here says, Christmas was Christmas when we would go to church at night, act out the birth of Jesus. That's very interesting. I'd love some more details on that and how that might have looked like. Sing the Christmas carols. It was fun, and actually the message of Christmas was driven home so well, even for the young ones. Today that tradition is no more, especially due to insecurities, and sadly even Christmas doesn't make such an impact as before. Wow. Thank you so much. That's such a good comment right there, Neema. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. This is somebody who says, this is Angie Kamau, who says, Christmas is joyous for me and my entire family. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm always excited. Thank you so much, Angie, and good to know. This is Edwin from Nairobi, who says, hello, Pasi. When Christmas was Christmas, we could meet up at our grandma's place and spend the whole night out admiring stars, singing, dancing, laughing, eating. But all that was overtaken by growth, responsibilities, and migration for greener pastures. I will always miss Christmas, because nowadays Christmas is just a holiday. I also miss acting as the angel as the angel Gabriel in church. Edwin, I hope that you can still live out your dream and remember that angels are still available and you can still act out even in your home right now. Well, thank you so much. What is Christmas for you? Is it more an exciting time? Is it a stressful time? Why is that? What are some of the memories, some of the best memories? Please do share with us. We do love to hear from you. So feel free to get in touch with us on 0786 316 316. That's our WhatsApp line. In case you haven't ever gotten in touch with us, today would be a good chance to just try and say, let me find out how this WhatsApp line, kind of works. Feel free to do that. And we'll be reading your comment. I do want to also just read a comment here from one Jonathan Joroge. I wonder whether your name is Marion Joroge, so I wonder whether Jonathan Joroge is related to you in any way.
That one is mine.
I will tell you
from the comments.
Hallelujah. Glory. Well, love it. Love it. Jonathan Joroge says, I believe it is important to be intentional about the time together as family, a time to embrace fellowship and reflection and give God the praise, and a time to pray together and for each other. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Jonathan. And you say, the next Christmas is not guaranteed for the whole family. Wow. That's such a sobering thought. The next Christmas is not guaranteed for the whole family. If God in His mercy has allowed this one, make it a time of joy, laughter, singing, forgiveness, dreaming together, and enjoying God's providence. Wow. Amen. That's such a comment. Very deep from one Jonathan Joroge. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. And I like what Nest shared, who says, man, for me, Christmas is a bit of a stressful time because all my friends go to travel with their families. And you find people for different reasons who find themselves alone. And I want to tie it back to what you were talking about before we went on break. who for one reason or another find themselves alone. You know, maybe they come from a different town, a different country even, and stuff like we've just mentioned that, you know, your kids might be in that same situation right now. I remember once just being alone during Christmas. I had so much schoolwork to do, so I said, you know what, this Christmas, as guys go shags, me, I'll remain here. It was the loneliest time ever, in a sense. And I want us to maybe just develop that and talk a little bit more about that. I think Christmas also, and I love that you talked about reconciliation. Even if we don't, you know, fix things, we can make baby steps. What are some of the things that you can just tell us about, or maybe share about what it means, especially to be in relationship with others, and how we can foster that? You know, anything really.
Yeah, right. Wow, I'm loving the questions. They're big and heavy and weighty. And
the quality of the question is unquestionable.
Yes, that, oh wow, yeah, there you go. I think, so I'm particularly sensitive or empathetic for people who do not have people to share Christmas with. A, because they could be in a foreign place, in a foreign country, or you may not have family around you for whatever reason, or what you could call family. I think the onus is on us. We who do have places to go and families to sit with and Christmases to celebrate. One of the ways to really experience the joys of Christmas is by looking out for those kinds of people within your circles. Is there a student who can't, for whatever reason, go home for Christmas, like the example that you gave, maybe because they need to be away from home because they're working on a project or whatever it is, for whatever circumstance? Maybe those are the people we need to look out for instead of thinking too much about ourselves. And I say this is one of the greatest things about our life as Christians, that it's not about self. It's about service, and that's how you experience life, and that's how you experience the fullness and the joy and the meaning of life. It's in giving of yourself, it's in serving. And so I think there's great opportunity there for us to look out who within our circles has been excluded from the meaning of Christmas, or from the travel, the upcountry, the family, the life, you know, that celebration, or doesn't even have a table to be invited to sit down and be part of. And we could actually reach out to those people who are known to us, invite them in, and you will find you would be the richer for that experience. It goes a long way. So I think that's one of the motivators I would put out there. It's on us who have been blessed that way. Let us look out for those people who may not have those opportunities and say, hey, by the way, what are you doing for Christmas? Actually, I was just going to stay home, and like, why don't you come out with us? We'd be happy to have you. Come join us. Come cook with us. Come eat with us. Come experience our family in all its authenticity.
Exactly. Come and marinate in our familyness.
Yes, and marinate in our familyness. You'd be surprised how those things would be such a blessing, not just for that person, but also for you and your family. It makes for some of the most memorable Christmases.
Wonderful.
You
know, it's very interesting because even as you share that, again, it's so interesting. I think when you're talking is when memories come and stuff like that. And you're right that I think when especially you involve and include others, you find that your Christmas actually becomes so much better in a sense, because you're able to lean in on other people's experiences and other people's you know, different things and stuff. And so I remember a time also just when I was invited, I think for like a Christmas thing, I think either I was away from my family or something like that. I can't remember the circumstances around it, but I had such a good time, you know, in a sense, because it was new. It was a whole new way of looking at Christmas. It was a whole new way of spending Christmas. And maybe just transitioning a little bit, I'd like us to talk about, in fact, I think I did miss one of the comments there, for somebody who just says, hey, please pray for me. I am in need of urgent financial breakthrough. And for some people, they might be thinking, wow, we are thinking about traveling, we're thinking about, you know, cooking, we're thinking about, you know, this and that. But as is true for quite a number of Kenyans, they could be struggling with, I'm just trying to get by. You know, any words, any thoughts, you know, any encouraging words, so to speak?
The financial needs is real. I mean, the need for finances is real. There's many people and there's many families that are in a very difficult place. There's probably some who, even as we're talking about going and traveling for Christmas and food and all that, they probably don't have a food budget. And so I would not diminish the need for prayer for financial breakthrough. What I would how I would make that prayer bigger.
Okay.
Let me say that. My prayer for you is, may you know the God of providence. There's a difference between financial breakthrough. Yes, you can get financial breakthrough, but you may not have God's providence. That is something that's it supersedes financial breakthrough. It's something so much more greater. And I wish our prayers would, yes, God, I need money, but God, I need you to provide for me. God can provide for you in ways and means that even if you had the money in the bank, it would not do for you what God can do for you.
Wow.
So for me, my encouragement to people is look beyond your finances, look to God. In as much as you're praying for financial breakthrough, God knows your need. And your need you may think it's money, but your need may be so much greater. God can provide. And what do I mean by this? I mean that people pray, God, I need money for school fees. But God is able to give your child a scholarship in a school that even your salary would never afford. Do you get?
That's
like
true.
God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that you could ever dare to ask or think or imagine of Him. So sometimes our prayers are at the level of our faith. God, I need money. God, I need you to provide for me, because God can cause an abundance of food. Whatever your need is, He can supply. I mean, if He used to send ravens and birds to feed people, God can provide for you in ways and means that even your money can never accomplish. There's people who have money in the bank and nothing to spend it on, or even they lack the appetite to be able to enjoy the food that money can buy. They can have what you call a plethora of meals because they have the money to, but they do not have the good health or to enjoy it, or the appetite to enjoy it. So I would encourage us. Yes, the financial needs are real, but look to the God who is able to provide exceedingly and abundantly above that financial need. He's able to do so much more. He's able to give you the means and the ability even to enjoy and meet those needs that you have, or those stressors that are stressing you this holiday season. He's even able to give you the peace. You may even not, that thing that is stressing you, I need money to do this Christmas. You may not get the money to do this, but He's able to give you the peace and the enjoyment, and that's something that is so much more richer, incredibly richer than this little thing or this thing that is stressing you. But the reason I'm calling it little is not because it's little for you, but I'm just trying to diminish it in the scope of God, in view of God. So that for me would be the encouragement. I pray for you financial breakthrough. Amen. Yes and amen. I pray for you that the God of providence would prove Himself worthy of your trust. I think that's the bigger prayer I would make.
And isn't that what like Paul talks about? Like, I know what it means to be okay with much and to be okay with little. Because sometimes I think we are more okay with much and that's it. And yet God is able to take even what we have and what we call little and actually just do something beautiful and great and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the things that makes the Christian faith very interesting and very dynamic and very, so exclusive and superior, so to speak, in a sense. Maybe just a final thought, or maybe a couple of final thoughts as we sort of begin to wrap up. Jonathan actually made a very good point that there are no guarantees that next Christmas will be there as the whole family. And sometimes, what used to unite people, for instance, it was going shags. You find that maybe our grandparents have passed away, or one grandparent has passed away, and maybe they were the glue that brought people together. And so for some people here, their Christmas might have changed significantly because certain things have just shifted. Today, I don't travel as much to, upcountry. That is, my parents' parents, pretty much for that reason, because the person that was sort of uniting us, or the people that were uniting us, are no longer there. And so things have just somewhat changed and stuff like that. I don't know if you have any thoughts or any counsel or any words to somebody like that, who just might be like, well, for me, Christmas is a bit stressful, not because I don't have money, not because I don't have provision, but just because it's different. It hits different. In fact, Christmas becomes sort of like a painful time a little bit because they are constantly reminded that things have changed, that things are different. Any thoughts, any words?
I'm going to share from a very personal standpoint. I think my short answer would be, don't take anything for granted. Just because we have a family and a home and a Christmas and Christmas plans this year, you're not guaranteed you'd have the same next year. And I say this last Christmas was particularly difficult for us as a family because it was the first Christmas without my mother-in-law, and she was always the pillar around Christmas, like bringing us together as a family. Like, would go home and cook. Of course, that's the time you show up and you're like, well, we're cooking for the family and all these elaborate Christmas plans. And last year was our first Christmas where we didn't have that. We still got together as a family, but it was, for me personally, I really felt her absence at that point.
Yeah.
And when that memory just kind of came back to me, and it made me realize that you cannot take things, because there was nothing that could have prepared us for that, but you cannot take anything for granted. So if you have family to go home to, go home. If you have, if it's, and sometimes I want to say this, that sometimes like, oh gosh, going home, my family is so stressful, that, oh, there's a toxic auntie and whatever. Imagine, put the drama aside, just go home and be present, be with the people who you think are toxic, but just be there, because you know what? You're not guaranteed you will always have that.
True.
So just go home, be positive, be open, be reconciling, be loving. Use this as an opportunity for character development. And I know that's a weird word to say in Kenya, but I mean that in a godly sense.
Yes,
like God is always trying to develop Christ in us, like a Christ-centered character. Lean into that. Maybe be the one who goes home and choose not to be the one who leans into the toxicity or the one who incites and inflames and wants tea. And like, choose that as an opportunity to let me go home. In as much as it's challenging and complicated being with my family, I will go home with a more open or a more different mindset. You might actually surprise yourself and find, actually, this person is not half as bad as I thought, or half my issues with them are it's my issues.
Yeah,
and
maybe
like,
they were just hungry that day.
Maybe I just, you know how you have this, I want to say it in an English word so that I sound proper, but Mnakwaruzana. I don't know what that is. Like, there's friction because you're there with your siblings, and like you frying those sausages, you're making them so badly, and you get angry and you snap. And like, in fact, you talk to me badly over Christmas. I'm never coming home again for Christmas. Let's try and diminish the drama, and let's try and be more open and present, because you're not always guaranteed these people or this family will always be around you. And yes, it is true. There's many family traditions that end when our parents' generation exit the scene. I think that's a place, again, for us to be intentional. It still comes back to us about what choices are you making, what decisions, what are you committing to? Maybe it's me now who's being called to step up, to set up those traditions now that our parents are exiting the scene. The responsibility is coming back to us. How do we make Christmas meaningful for the family? So there's a place, I think, also for us to start like shifting our mindsets. Like, the people who did it are gone, but who's there? You are there. You're it. Step up. Like, step up to the plate. Figuring out how do we make Christmas meaningful for communities and people around us.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think time flies when you're having a good time. It's so sad that, because I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I think it's been very meaningful and very thoughtful. And so thank you so much. Maybe in just a minute, any parting shots, any final remarks, if in case? Yeah,
I read something, and it's from the Bible again. Like I said, I can't disconnect that part of that part of me. And it was like, what struck me is when you read through the book of Luke, and it does a really good job of explaining the birth of the Messiah, which is really the whole reason for Christmas. We have to say that. What struck me reading through, and of course you've read the story many times, the angel appeared to John and then to Mary and then later. What struck me is how joy kept being referenced. Zacharias was told, you're going to have a son, this son will bring you great joy. Mary was told, you're highly favored. Elizabeth was filled with joy. The child within her leapt with joy. So the birth of the Savior, the one defining emotion that accompanies the birth of Christ, which is the reason for Christmas, is joy.
Wow.
Yeah, and so for me, I think let's not lose sight of that. Yes, there's super deals happening, like go shopping, do what, Don't lose sight of the fact that the birth of the Messiah was occasioned by great joy in heaven and on earth. Like so much joy that the heavens burst open into praise, and the angels sang joy to the world. Okay, they didn't sing joy to the world, but I mean, they gave praise to God. So I think let's not lose, let's fully lean into the joy. There's very few things in this world that bring us joy. This is an occasion and a season for us to truly experience that.
Beautiful place to land this plane. Thank you so much, Marian Njoroge, Director at Frontier Consulting, but also former, worker here at Family Media, and what a joy and what a conversation right there.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to transition to yet another program, and so we thank you so much for being a part of this conversation, and please do remember that it makes a significant and a real difference when you give towards Family Media, because it helps us to have shows like this, to be seated here and to broadcast and to share helpful, meaningful content for you. So please do consider giving to the paybill number 316. The account number is your phone number, and also you can give to the account number, that is the cooperative bank account 0113-600-799-100. That is 0113-600-799-100. The account name is TBN Family Media. Well, I know it's a bit early, but Merry Christmas. May you have great joy even as we enter and as we continue in this Advent season and look forward to the Christmas season itself. Lord bless you. See you next time.